How do you think that's going to affect the rest of them?
Most investable GMT of all these.
So do you think that will fall below that?
Would be the most profitable watch from a flipper's perspective. And also long term, 3-5 years, you'll make money on these watches. Do I see the market this time next year being up?
Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. Today, as you can see, well, every GMT other than what? The Sprite? Obviously, we've not got the variation of like Jubilee and Oyster.
That's quite impressive, yeah, you're right. We haven't got an Oyster, so a Batman, and we haven't got a Jubilee Pepsi, but yeah.
Pretty much.
That's kind of impressive.
Most of them are all here in front of us, and obviously the topic of conversation today is going to be about this, which is the first one in the country, possibly even the world.
I think so, I hope so, yeah.
The GMT, Bruce Wayne. I know a lot of people aren't really liking the nickname, but yeah, we're going to talk to you about all things GMTs, from prices to popularity and everything in between. Yeah. How do you think that's going to affect the rest of them?
So I think forget about the fact that at the moment it's like a 20 grand daft price watch. It's not 20 grand, not when you can pick up that for 15.5, 16. Yeah. So
it's just the hype of it being new and
so let's assume it settles down to where it probably is going to sit at around 13, 14, 15. I don't think it'll affect the current prices because firstly it's a different watch. When you've got the two-tone, the bimetal, and you've got the full gold.
Even though there's a bit of hype about that at the minute, that is probably entry level into the GMT in terms of like, this is bimetal, so you've got yellow gold, this is yellow gold, this is bimetal. These are always very popular.
So aside from these two, obviously being in the precious metal category, then you've got the two tones.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no difference between that and that.
It feels like that though. Is that just in our head compared to that?
It's funny actually. I thought that as well. Is that weird that you just thought that?
So do you think that will fall below that?
See, I look at that now, and that wins hands down all day for me. That grey is just too subtle and too boring. I'm not a fan of this watch anyway. You know that. Whereas I am a fan of like the Pepsi and the Batgirls. But where does it sit in the market in terms of value? It's probably going to sit at 13, 14 grand. What's it done to the current market? Nothing but brought in a bit of, I guess, a bit of excitement. Well, some people don't like gold and some people don't like full gold. So I guess if you were waiting for a nice GMT on a Jubilee or Oyster, nice to hear what people at home think about the GMT range, having seen them all as they are. I mean, obviously, like I say, without the exception of the Sprite, with the exception of the Batman and the Pepsi Jubilee, which would be your top pick, which would be your least favourable? Most investable GMT of all these. I think in the last 2 or 3 months, everyone's been saying the Pepsi. I would have to argue either this, because at the moment it's way below retail. So this, I think we're selling for 32 grand and retail's 34.5. And ours is a 23, not a 24. So if it was a 24, it'd probably be 32.5, 33 grand. So it's still a grand 1,500 quid below retail. Should it be above retail? Absolutely. So I think that that's got more mileage to go up. The Rose GMT, similar applies. I think it's probably 1,500 quid, 2 grand below retail. So that should, in theory, go way above retail if the market picks up. Having said that, I think also a bimetal root beer is still pretty low value. I mean, they were flying at 20 grand. Where they're at now in the market is 15, 16. So there's so much more scope to go from a percentage base with that. So what would be the most profitable watch from a flipper's perspective? I think at the moment, this definitely, yes, because that's commanding a premium right now. But if you ask me the same question in a week or two, probably not that. And I would say most likely Batgirl or the Pepsi, but Pepsis aren't really coming out the AD. Definitely not the full gold, and the GRNR no, and the root beer no. So yeah, steel pieces again, steel.
What a watch goes for in the trade or from the AD really doesn't affect us. Like it doesn't. So for instance, they're coming out cheaper. People would think that if they're higher on the grey market, that benefits us.
No,
that actually doesn't. Yeah. If it's cheaper coming out, it's better for us.
The long and short of it is we make money whether the market's down or up. That's what you're trying to say. It doesn't matter to us. We buy at a lower price and we sell at a lower price, or we buy higher and they sell higher.
It's like the guy we had in this morning. For me, if you're going to buy a watch, buy it for the love of the watch. Yeah. Don't worry about the investment price of it, because if you lose a grand or 2 grand, you've had 3, 4, 5 years out of that watch. You've loved it. You've got your wear out of it. If you make a profit, great. If you lose,
also long term, 3-5 years, you'll make money on these watches. Yeah, no question. Long term, these watches will go up. It's just short, medium term, they might not. Over a 5-year term or 6-year, 7-year, 8-year term, Rolexes have gone on a steady rise. Just because precious metal values, inflation values.
In the next 5 years, though, What would you like them to bring out? For me, it's the Coke. I've said this a few times. I'd like them to bring a Coke back out. I'd like them to bring something.
I kind of like the excitement of not knowing. I like the excitement of guessing and the excitement of seeing what they bring out. And in a weird sort of way, the fact that, we were all so underwhelmed with this release, I think that's also partly now even more excitement for next year. Whether they let you down again, I don't know. To just bring out the same is boring. Contrary to what people say about that deep sea that they brought out, I think people will like it in a weird way. I'm not saying you'd want to own it or you'd want to pay the 45 grand price tag for it, but it is nice to see them do something that's a little bit different, a little bit off chart, a little bit off the wall, and no one guessed it. So it was definitely a surprise, and that's the whole point.
It's clever also, I think, because I haven't met one person who likes watches and talks to you about watches that hasn't brought up.
Yeah, even he mentioned it this morning.
Every single person's bringing it up
exactly.
in a good or a negative way, and good publicity or bad publicity is still publicity.
But at the moment, we've had it for 2.5 days. We had about 20 inquiries on it and no one's actually bought it yet. What that tells me is that the price tag of 20 grand is a little bit too high. If they dump a load of these pieces into the market, then the price is going to drop much quicker, much more heavily.
Even though you've touched upon it going down, do you see it going up?
No chance.
Do you think there's any factors that could make it go up?
The fact that it hasn't sold at 20k already, then no. A week ago, we were told they were coming into the market at 24k grey market price. We bought that watch just shy of 20k, it's no secret, and we're asking 20k. I don't want to take a loss on it, but if I have to, we will. Do I see the market this time next year being up? I think that the outside factors, I think that these wars with Israel and with Ukraine and Russia play a huge part in the luxury goods market and probably many other markets. The price rise that Rolex bring into play plays a part. I would like to think that those things, I would hope to God for everyone's sake, that those things come to an end and that the markets start to improve when the world starts getting back to normal. But if the world doesn't, will the market improve? Probably not.
The main point from this is, if you're going to buy a watch, stick within your means and make sure you enjoy it. A touchy subject, especially on our YouTube, a lot of people commenting all the time, but what do you think of the nicknames given to the watches? Obviously you've got the Pepsi, the Batgirl, and then obviously on the Oyster it's the Batman. This is the Bruce Wayne though, so
I don't even know how it got that, but no. I get it. I mean, the zombie is just not one I would have picked.
I don't know why that's called a zombie.
The Guinness.
See, the Guinness
is better. Yeah, I like the Guinness.
Yeah, Guinness is
I like a Guinness right now. The zombie I don't get. And Bruce Wayne, fair enough.
It gets people talking, and it's easier than them going like the 126 or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I get that side of it.
What do you guys think about the nicknames? Would you? I think Jay in our office has definitely coined the new Patek, the Les Battersby. Denim on denim. It's a good one, yeah.
What do you guys typically buy? Are you buying for an investment? Are you buying because you love a watch? Like, what really gets you when it comes to a watch? So this has just come out. When you first saw that, was your first thought, I'm going to buy that for an investment? Was it, I'm going to buy it at all? Or was it, I'm going to buy it because that's a really nice watch, so I'm going to wear it?
Out of any of these watches, which one would you want to have in your collection?
Thanks everyone for watching. If you haven't already, make sure that you head down below, leave your response to any of the questions we've asked. Let's start a bit of a conversation going.
Press that subscribe button, press the like button, and drop us a comment.